Hello. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here and watching for the first time, my name is Kira Pillen. I'm a certified personal trainer. Here on my page, I talk about all things health, wellness, fitness, especially hybrid training because I'm a runner and I also lift weights. So if you're on your own personal journey, hit subscribe, follow along. I'm building a community here where we're all supportive, empowering each other, and we're lifting each other up. And most importantly, we are crushing and reaching our fitness goals. So hit subscribe. Also, if you like my content and you believe in me, please drop a comment and like. When you like and comment, it tells the YouTube algorithm that my videos are worth watching and it pushes it out to a wider audience. So please do me a favor and go like, okay? Shameless plug. Please go like, please go comment. If you're watching this, please tell me one good thing that happened to you this week. What's something that you're either looking forward to or something that happened that you're really excited about? I'll go first. Yesterday was the Boston Marathon and I had a couple friends running. It was so good to see them crush their goals. They did so well. It just gives me hope that maybe one day I can qualify for Boston. That's my ultimate goal. If you guys didn't know, I grew up in Boston, so Boston has a special place in my heart, and I'm like, I have to qualify for the Boston Marathon and run it one day. So I just was so excited seeing all the runners. And it's one of the most elite races in the world where everybody's such an amazing runner and it's just so inspirational. So that's my exciting thing for the week. I also, I'm going to say two things. Sorry, guys. I did my own highlights. I think they came out really well. I'm so proud of myself. I actually had to do this twice. So this, do you see this? This was the second try. The first try was horrible. I'll show you a photo. I'll show you a before and after of my hair dye. And I'm so glad I was able to fix it because all of the salons near me are booked up because of Coachella. So I really was desperate. But the good news is I think it looks good now. We're safe. And I'm really impressed with myself. I'm like, yeah, I did that. So very exciting. But anyways, back to the main point of this video. Today, we're going to talk about 6 fitness myths that most people believe when they start on their fitness journey. So we're going to talk about these 6 myths, why they're wrong, what we can do to actually reach our goals, and we're just going to get into that a little bit more. I think when you first start out on your fitness journey, there's just so much information on the internet, and it's hard to filter out what's true, what's false, because you have so many opinions, and sometimes people just tell you stuff that's bullshit. Pardon my French, but you know, I see so many fitness influencers who are touting bullshit and it's actually really dangerous and toxic. So I want to be a positive role model for you guys and to let you know that like not every person that you see online should be trusted. And, you know, the most dangerous type of fitness influencer is someone who preys on your own insecurity, who preys on your weakness to try to sell a product. You know those fitness influencers that are like, try my ab workout for 3 weeks and you too can get a 6-pack abs. Like, it drives me insane. They are just greedy and selfish and are trying to prey on your weakness and make money. And that is not good. I cannot stand people in the fitness industry like that. Anyways, I could go on and on and on and vent about this, but let's get into these 6 common fitness myths. Okay, this might be one of the most popular ones out there. It's you can spot reduce fat. Unfortunately, you cannot spot reduce fat. If you see videos out there where influencers are like, if you have arm fat and you want to reduce arm fat, do this arm exercise. Or if you see videos that are like, if you want to lose belly fat, do this core exercise. Like you cannot spot reduce fat in a specific place. How fat loss works is you're in a slight caloric deficit to see fat loss. So the best way you can reach your goals and lose that body fat is by staying in a very slight sustainable caloric deficit and just losing body fat everywhere in your body, and then you'll start to see more definition in your quote-unquote problem areas. And I say problem areas because remember that this is all subjective. What you see as a problem, someone else may covet. All the girls who are like, oh, I have a lot of butt fat, I have a lot of hip fat, I have a lot of leg fat. I'm like, I need that, I want that, right? So what you may think is a problem, someone else doesn't, but it's perfectly fine to have goals and to want to lose body fat in specific areas. It happens to all of us. For me personally, the way that my body works is I do not gain fat in my extremities. I gain fat in my stomach and my hips, more specifically my lower belly and my hips. That is where I personally genetically store fat. My mom is the exact same way. My dad is very similar as well. So sometimes it's just a genetic component to where you store fat, but for losing body fat, it happens all throughout your body, not in a specific area. So I hope that helps a little bit. Okay, on to the second myth. Fasted workouts are better for fat loss. And this is such a common myth. People believe that being fasted, especially like when doing cardio, means you will lose more body fat quicker. Remember that in order to lose body fat, you have to be in a caloric deficit. Whether you work out fasted, whether you work out fueled, it all boils down to being in that caloric deficit at the end of the day. So for me personally, as you guys know, I'm a runner. I have a lot of friends in my run club that are fasted runners. I can't eat before I run. I don't like to eat before I run. It makes me sick. I am the exact opposite. I need to eat before I run. Otherwise, I will simply die. I will have a horrible workout. I am not a fasted workout girly. I am like, give me all the carbs, give me all the food. I also have to fuel a lot faster and more often than a lot of my running friends just because I'm tall, I have a fast metabolism, and again, I'm not a fasted runner. I love all the fuel, but I can still reach my goals and still burn body fat and get a little bit more shredded for the summer if I'm still in a caloric deficit, even if I eat before my workouts. And also, just remember that food is fuel. So if you eat before a workout, it actually fuels your workout. So I will leave that up to you guys, but just know that being fasted doesn't necessarily mean it's more beneficial or you'll burn more body fat. It's just personal preference. So if you're someone who likes to train fasted, fantastic. If you're someone who likes to train fueled like me, fantastic, but one is not better than the other, okay? Actually, I do think working out fueled is a little better than the other, especially for women, but that's a whole nother video for another day. And definitely check out Dr. Stacy Sims. She's a fantastic resource for women who are athletes, and she talks about the importance of training and nutrition for the female body specifically. I'll have to make a video about her work and a lot of her messaging later, but I'll save that. I'll table that discussion for now. But I definitely think, fueling yourself before a workout is the better option, but again, personal preference. Okay, moving on to the next one. This is really common if you're female. So a lot of women, when they first start out in the fitness industry, they're like, if I lift weights, I'm going to look super bulky. Guys, I do CrossFit 5 days a week. I run 2 days a week. I am constantly eating. I'm eating a ton of protein. I'm eating a ton of food. And I've been working out for 7 years consistently, and this is what I look like. I'm not bulky. It takes a lot of work and food to look bulky. This is a myth. If you touch weights, you're not gonna magically look bulky. It's just muscle is really, really difficult to build. And if you're not eating a ton or eating a lot of protein or working out for like hours a day, you will never look anywhere near bulky. I promise. You need strength training to build bone density. You need strength training to build longevity. Strength training has a myriad of benefits, and I promise you're not gonna look bulky. So get to the gym, start lifting weights, and I promise you will start feeling toned, you will start feeling stronger, and you will be better for it, I promise. So don't let that myth stop you from going to the gym and lifting weights. Okay, for the fourth myth, carbs and sugar are bad or cause fat gain. This is such a myth. I'm so sad that carbs get demonized in the fitness industry because carbs are wonderful, especially if you're an athlete or long distance runner. Carbs can be amazing. They're an amazing tool. It all goes back to this thing that I always say in all my videos. In order to lose fat, you need to be in a caloric deficit. It doesn't matter how you get into that deficit or what you're eating to be in that deficit. If you're in a deficit, you are gonna lose fat. Now, with that said, if I eat cookies all day and I'm still in a caloric deficit, am I gonna lose body fat? Yes. But will I have a lot of nutrients? Will I be satiated throughout the day? Will I have energy throughout the day if I eat cookies? Probably not. So there are foods that are better quality, which are definitely recommended if you're on a fat loss or muscle gain journey. Protein, getting your micronutrients, getting your greens, getting your fiber, which means fruits and vegetables, drinking your water. These are all quality, nutrient dense foods. So while it's all about being in a caloric deficit for fat loss, there are smarter foods. I hope that makes sense to you. I mean, it's a whole big complex issue, but the gist of it is that carbs and sugar are not inherently bad. All my what I eat in a day videos on my shorts page, it's like you'll see sugar and you'll see carbs in those videos. I'm still on my own fitness journey. I'm getting shredded for the summer. I still incorporate the foods that I enjoy and the foods that I like because I believe in eating everything in moderation. I don't think any food is inherently bad. It's how you eat them. And I've always talked about this in my videos. Go check some of them out, but the 80-20 rule. So carbs and sugar are not inherently bad. It's important to have balance and everything in moderation. Okay, next one. This is specifically for my ladies with hip dips, and I have hip dips, so I wanted to put this on the list. But the fifth myth, I can fill in my hip dips with exercise. And I myself have hip dips, and I remember scouring the internet when I first started working out of like how to get rid of my hip dips. What can I do? And just coming up with so much information on the web telling me that if I do this exercise, my hip dips will go away, or if I do eat more, fat will be deposited here. Meh. Hip dips are completely genetic. It's your skeletal structure. It's the way that you are born. My mom has hip dips. My grandma has hip dips. I have hip dips. And it's something that I've really had to learn to love, unless outside of getting surgical fat injections, you're gonna have hip dips if your skeleton is made that way, or if you don't store fat in your lower hips. My best advice to you is if you have hip dips, accept them, love them, learn to say yes. It's society that tells us that hip dips are ugly or unsightly, and it's just a lie. I love my hip dips. I've never dated anyone that's ever said your hip dips are ugly. Same with stretch marks. I have stretch marks on my butt from growing really quickly, and I've never met anyone that has told me that my hip dips or my stretch marks are ugly. And if they tell you that, they are a POS and it's time to boot them out of your life, okay? Guys will still love you with hip dips. Guys, or girls, okay? Guys and girls will still think you're hot if you have hip dips. They'll still think you're hot if you have stretch marks. Learn to love yourself, okay? You are beautiful. We have natural bodies that grow and stretch, and we have our own unique skeleton structures. Like, just love yourself, okay? I promise you, anyone who makes you feel bad about what you were born with is not worth their weight in anything. They are... I'm trying to be nice on you too. I'm just saying they're not worth your time or your attention. They're not even worthy of being in your life. It is a red flag for people to be so superficial, and it's time for you to move on, okay? Anyways, you can't fill in your hip dips, ladies. Love them, embrace them. You are beautiful. Okay. Now, number 6. So the sixth and the final myth is one of my favorites, and everybody tends to believe this. Muscle weighs more than fat. Everybody and their mother seems to think that muscle weighs more than fat. It is not true. A pound of fat weighs the same as a pound of muscle. See? Common denominator, 1 pound, same weight. The only difference is that muscle is more dense than fat. So 1 pound of muscle takes up a lot less space in our body than 1 pound of fat. It's why you see a lot of bodybuilders who weigh a lot, but they look really tiny because muscle is more dense than fat. Muscle is also more efficient than fat, meaning that the more muscle you have, the more it is to burn, the more easy it is to burn calories quicker. You can tend to eat a lot more because it requires more energy than fat does. It's this whole scientific thing. But anyways, a little example of this for you. When I first started out on my fitness journey 7 or 8 years ago, I weighed 120 pounds. I was actually pretty underweight for my height, but that's not the point. The point was I looked skinny fat at 120 pounds. Flash forward to today, I am 145 pounds. I look way leaner, 25 pounds heavier because I built muscle. I put on muscle. This is the most common thing that I hear when people are on a fat loss journey. They're like, okay, I'm losing fat, but I don't look fit. And I'm like, okay, well, you need to focus on putting on muscle then, eating in a slight caloric surplus, eating the protein that your body needs. So then you need to focus on that build phase. So when it comes time to trim the body fat, you have adequate muscle underneath where you're looking toned, trimmed, and just shredded. Okay, these are the top 6 myths that I tend to see a lot here on YouTube, on TikTok, on socials. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about them and why they're not true. I hope you found this video helpful. If you made it this far, tell me your favorite animal in the comments. I'll go first. My favorite animal is a manatee because my family lives in Florida and we love manatees. They're so cute. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. And I'm really happy that you're here and you're part of my community. And together we're going to crush our fitness goals. Oh, and if at any point you ever have a video idea or a video that you want me to make, drop a comment below. I love video ideas. It just gives me an idea of what you guys want to see more of, what you don't want to see more of, what you don't like. So always open to constructive criticism. With that said, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.